Stefan Swartling here. Welcome to another episode of the podcast show. The Google I/O Day 1 keynote was really excellent. It was very exciting to see. I'm very impressed by Google. They did a really good keynote. Really good. And the Nexus 7 tablet they presented, there was no surprises. It was exactly as the leaked images and info. It had a 7-inch screen, 1280 by 800 in resolution, quad-core Tegra 3 processor, 1 gigabit of RAM, 12-core GPU, and comes in two storage sizes, 8 GB and 16 GB, exactly as I said before in some videos. The 8 GB will cost $199 and the 16 GB will cost $249. And it doesn't have a micro SD slot, so you have to choose. And then maybe the 8 GB version could be too small storage. And as I said, it also had a front-facing camera, 1.3 megapixel. That's the specs for it. And it is manufactured by ASUS. It looked quite good. Very light. I think it was 364 grams only. That's really light, really light. 364 grams. And then it looks really easy to read on it. Consuming media. It's really great. But as I said in the earlier video, 7-inch tablets is more for consuming media, not for creating content on. So, of course, you can create content on a 7-inch tablet if it's done like this, Nexus 7, because then it runs on vanilla Android OS. And you can install some apps to create content with. Very easy. So, you only need good apps to create content. But the problem is that the size of the screen is too small to be productive when you create content. That's why I prefer larger tablets like the iPad, 9.7-inch screen, to create content on. But I admit that this Nexus 7 looks really great for consuming media, consuming content. I think the 7-inch size is perfect for that, because you can lay down in your bed very comfortably when reading on it. And it has quite large bezels, this Nexus 7 tablet. At first I think that was ugly, but I think that's smart to do that, because then you can hold it very comfortably without touching the screen. So the bezels on this Nexus 7, I think that's perfect too. So this tablet is great for consuming content and media. Google also presented Android Jelly Bean, Android 4.1. Not a huge update, but it looks much better now. And it was also faster than Ice Cream Sandwich. It's good. Many things was redesigned for, I think, the Nexus 7 tablet. So YouTube has a complete new design. For example, widgets had some new features. They resized themselves and so on. Looks kind of cool. And Google also presented the Nexus Q. And that's Google's answer to Apple TV. It can stream media, content to your TV through the Nexus Q. But the difference between Apple TV and the Nexus Q, that is that the Nexus Q cannot be standalone. You need to have at least one more Android device, because you stream media through Google Play with the help of your Android device. And at the moment, the Nexus Q can only use media from Google Play and YouTube. So no Netflix or whatever, only Google Play, and it's only available in the US at the moment. And the price, to me, the price is too much because it costs $299 and the Apple TV only $99. It's a huge difference. So to me, I still prefer to buy an Apple TV before this, because Apple TV can do so much more and a lot cheaper. But it has a cool design than the Nexus Q, really cool design, and it's designed in USA. It looks cool, like a sphere, a ball, really cool. And also Google presented Google Glasses, Project Glass, and all the people that was on Google I/O will be able to pre-order the Google Glasses, and they will be delivered next year. Google had a real show about Google Glasses. They skydiving down to San Francisco and mountain biked into the keynote with Google Glasses on. All sending live, so we could see everything in live. And they look really cool, these glasses. And I think in the future we will have something like that. And as Google said in the keynote, they are working on these glasses to be as fast as you will think that you know that you searches for. So fast. So you will think that you knew this, that you searches for. So if you search for some facts, it will be so fast, so you think that this is your brain and that you are knew this already. So fast. And that sounds really science fiction, but I also think that this will be the future. I have many times said that, why do we need to use so much? Why do we need to know so much? We have Google, we can search for knowledge. And with our handsets and tablets and so on, it's really fast to search for knowledge. So you don't have to know what the stuff is, all the facts around that we learn in school. You can search for it. And with these glasses, Google Glasses, if that will be a reality, that we can search so fast that we think that our brain already knew this, then that will be a reality. I think that's great. And they also presented some new stuff in Google Plus, my favorite on the web. Google Plus. Follow me on swartling.net. They launched a new Google Events feature where we can use our calendars and send out invites to people for different kind of events. And as I said, I think the Google Glasses is the future. I think all the big companies will have some kind of glasses, Apple, Microsoft, and so on. And maybe that is one of the secret products Apple will unveil for us this fall. That they are working on some kind of glasses too. Who knows? With Siri built in or something. That would be cool. But in a way, Siri is the same thing for us. We can ask Siri for everything, all the answers. The Google Plus events that they presented yesterday is now live on all Google Plus profiles. And I will probably never use it, but I've seen many users are already using it, so it seems like a popular product, but I don't think it's so much for me either. But maybe I could use it for my live blogging, my meta live blogging on Apple events. Could be useful. I will probably try that the next time. Google has also presented that they will release a history API. That sounds really interesting. I don't really know exactly what it is now, but we will somehow be able to have all or other streams from Twitter and probably Facebook and so on our Google Plus profile somehow, and from there we could share the stuff we want to share on Google Plus, and that sounds really awesome, really awesome. I don't like auto-posting to services like Facebook and Twitter because that always destroys the quality on the post. But this sounds really interesting because these streams will not be in our Google Plus streams. They will be on our profiles, and from there we can share what we like from our posts from other services. It sounds really interesting. I really like that Google not releases a API for read and write, because then we will have a lot of services that can auto-post to Google Plus, and I hate that. I don't want any auto-posting to Google Plus. Never ever. So I hope that Vikram Dotra and the other people in the Google Plus team are listening to me, because auto-posting destroys the quality on the service. Manually create or post on Google Plus is the future. And that's the greatest thing for a service like Google Plus. To me, Google Plus is more a blog service than a social network. A social blog service where we need to do our posts manually, exactly as you do on a blog. So hopefully Google never releases a read-write API, because that will destroy the service. I know many bloggers are waiting for something like that, read-write API, because they want to use their old media blogs, their old blogs, to post on, and the post will show up on Google Plus automatically. That's their dreams, but I think that's a really bad idea, because then they will never be at Google Plus and interact and engage. They will only sit there on their blogs and waiting for all the page views they get. And I hate that. I really love that Google Plus is not, you don't have to care about SEO, page rank and page views. Only interaction and engagement, and that you get from followers. I mean, who needs an RSS feed? I mean, I have over 30,000 followers. I will never have 30,000 subscribers on an RSS feed on a blog. Never. So Google Plus is so much better than an old media blog. Okay, I didn't see day 2 of Google I.O., but what I have been reading so far, it was all about Chrome OS. And two great things is that Google has released Google Chrome and Google Drive for iOS. So now we can have it on our iPhones and iPads. That's really great. Chrome, though, is about 3 times slower than Safari. And it's not Google's fault, what I've been told. It don't uses their Chromium engine. So Chrome on iOS doesn't use Chromium, because that's not allowed on iOS to use your own engines. So Chrome is a bit too slow on iOS, but it syncs your history, your bookmarks, your tabs, and everything exactly as it does on your PC, your Mac or Android device. So now you can sync with an iOS device too. Well, that's great. And Google Drive, though, it's great, but you can't edit Google Docs in it, and it's really terrible to edit Google Docs in in the web browser on iOS, it doesn't work, hardly work at all. And as soon as you have converted a Google Docs, as soon as you have converted a document to Google Docs format, then you can't open it in any other app. For example, Pages or Documents to Go or Quick Office and so. You can't. So you need to edit them in the web browser, and that sucks on iOS. I don't know if it's better in Android to edit document in the web browser, but it's really hard to do it on iOS. Maybe it will be better in iOS 6 to edit documents in a web browser, because Safari gets a lot more features in iOS 6. For example, uploading of files directly in the web browser and so on. So maybe it will be easier to edit documents in iOS 6. So Google Drive is more for storage of files to me on iOS. For example, like Dropbox, nothing else. And I will not store them as Google Docs file format, because then you can't edit them on iOS. But if I store them in Pages format or Microsoft Office format, then I can edit them in, for example, Documents to Go or Pages. And when you have edited them in these apps, you can save it back to Google Drive. So, of course, it's great that Google has released Google Drive and Chrome for iOS, but they need some improvements to be good. And as usual, it's not as good as other iOS apps. Google has problems doing iOS apps. They are never as good as other apps. With all the features we have in all other apps, saving and sharing from them and so on. Google's apps never support that. And that's too bad. Day 2 of Google I.O. was much about cloud, editing documents offline in Google Drive and so on. And of course Chrome OS. But personally, I don't believe that Chrome OS will be big ever. It will never succeed, because people need more advanced operating systems. You have to be able to, for example, video edit, making music, coding, developing, compile code, advanced photo editing, and so on. And in a web browser only drive on Chrome OS, you can't do all these advanced features, advanced things you need to do. You can't. It's impossible. Of course, Chrome OS and Chromebook is great to have for a lot of people, because there is many people that only doing web surfing, checking email, Facebook, Twitter, and so on, paying bills and all that. So of course, Chrome OS on a Chromebook could be great for them, but you need to be online all the time, and that's a drawback. For many people, that's a drawback. When you're home, of course, you can be online, but not if you have your computer with you. Then you need some kind of 3G connection, Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi or something. And that's reasons to not succeed. It's reason for Chrome OS to not succeed. The normal people that want to use all these web features only could possibly buy a Chromebook, but you need to be online, and therefore it will not succeed. And Google, it's interesting things they're doing, and I think it's great that they are testing this kind of stuff, and I think we, the users, are some kind of test dummies for Google to see if their stuff is useful in the future generations. And I think it's great that Google are doing this. But now, today, I think Chrome OS is not a success. And it's too early. It's too early for Chrome OS.